Hello, welcome to a short tutorial on how to do a dot and cross diagram, okay? So this is the first question in the last page of your booklet, okay? So it says, draw a dot cross diagram to show the arrangement of the valence electrons of Li, which is lithium, and O, which is oxygen, okay? And this compound is called, now remember when we name ionic compounds, the metal goes first, and we use the full name, lithium, and the non-metal goes next, oxide, and we change the last part. See, here it's oxygen, and we change this one to IDE, okay? So how do we do this dot and cross? First, we need to know the charge, okay? So lithium is in group 1. And we know that all group 1 elements have a charge of 1 plus because it has 1 electron in its outer shell that it needs to lose. So it will give away that 1 electron. If you give away 1 electron, that means you have one proton extra. That's why you have a charge of 1 plus. On the other hand, oxygen is in group 6. Okay? So that means it has 6 electrons in its outer shell. And because it has so many electrons in its outer shell, it just wants to take 2 electrons. So it will gain 2 electrons. That's why it has a charge of 2 minus. Because when it gets 2 more electrons, there will be 2 more than the number of protons. Okay? So how do we write the chemical formula for this one? Now remember, every time we make a compound, okay, we need to remember that all compounds have a final charge of what? 0. Okay? Final charge of 0. So let's look at this one. Lithium has a charge of 1 plus. Oxygen has a charge of 2 minus. If I do LiO, then that means I only have 1 plus and oxygen has 2 minus. The total charge would be 1 minus, which cannot be because the total charge has to be 0. So what do I do to make this equal 0? I have to increase the number of lithium ions to 2. Okay? So look at this one. Since lithium has a charge of 1 plus, if I have 2 of them, the total charge would be 2 plus. And then you have 2 minus for oxygen, then you can see the total charge is 0, which is what we need, okay? Now let's do the dot cross. It says here, use X for lithium and dot for oxygen, okay? So with lithium, now that lithium has given away its outer shell electron, it's now left with 2 electrons. Okay? And since it gave away 1 electron, it now has a charge of 1 plus. Okay? Now, since we have 2 lithiums, okay, we need to draw 2 of these. Okay? Now, please make sure they are on top of each other. Okay? Not here. Here. Because this 2 represents this part. Okay? Now let's draw the oxygen atom. So oxygen, okay, is in group 6. So that means it has, 2 in its first shell. And then 6 in the outer shell. Okay, now, how do we make it stable? Remember, in order to have a stable outer shell, you need 8 electrons. So it's missing 2. Where will it get the 2? From the 2 lithium. Okay? From the 2 lithium atoms. So now, we put the X there. Okay? And the final charge of oxygen, since it has 2 extra electrons, is 2 minus. Now, this is the reason why we use dot cross, so that we know that these two electrons came from these two lithium atoms, okay? So that is how to draw the dot cross for lithium oxide. Please practice this, okay? Bye-bye.